Hi, class. It's Carl Gruber. My presentation's on deepfakes. Deepfake might be a term that not everybody knows, so just wanted to introduce what it is to the people that might not. Deepfake is a relatively new terminology that um, started just a couple of years ago. Essentially, what it is using software AI to do high quality photo manipulation and video manipulation. Um, Whereas it was always kind of possible to do Photoshop or edit the videos kind of by hand. To do a convincing job, you had to be pretty skilled at it. And this basically automates that process to a very high level. And the quality is continuing to get better. So it's becoming harder and harder to tell the difference between an edited video and one that's the original source. The dilemma that this poses for us is that we have software that's advancing without any real ethical guardrails around its use. We have a situation where the algorithms are rapidly improving and becoming accessible to a wide audience. It comes with some positive and negative uses. The media industry is interested in this type of software for movies and commercials. It has a lot of facial recognition applications, and certainly some academic and research information. Some negatives about it, though, is that it's been used for revenge porn. That's probably the most common use of it to this point. So they can take pornography and replace the face on a person in there with whoever's being targeted with it and make it look relatively convincing. It's also been used to spread misinformation across the internet. This definitely has applications with elections and things like that to kind of influence people. For modalities regarding this, we have our social norms, sharing fake videos across the internet really blurs the lines on what's real and what's not. These types of videos are shown up on alternative news sources. Raises questions about the laws as to who's responsible for fake videos. Was it the developer that wrote the software? The end user who actually made the video? A social media site that's distributing it potentially? Should there be mandatory ways that software has to make a deep fake video identifiable, either through watermarks or authoring metadata? Then we have what the market pressures are. Facebook makes the vast majority of its money from its advertisements, and if a deepfake video brings viewers to their site, they have a financial incentive to keep that video up. And certainly movie studios are another major component to legitimizing deepfake technology. If it can make movies cheaper from a special effects kind of perspective, they have a interest in that. From architecture perspective, computers are still rapidly increasing in speed and becoming cheaper. And an interesting part of AI development is that while AI is becoming more sophisticated, it's actually becoming less computer resource intensive by simplifying the rules. For solutions and rationales, I have a consequence-based solution. My premises are that misinformation can be rapidly spread via social networks. Identifying deepfakes is becoming more difficult to do. Regulations are being created to attempt to mandate rules around deepfake use. So our conclusion is that deepfake software must include a watermark that social media sites must read to properly identify them automatically. And then the idea there is that this will help prevent distribution of known bad videos. Duty-based solution. Our premise is that false information should not be spread. Victims of crime should be protected, and organizations should prevent criminal activities by their users. So our conclusion there is that organizations that provide a service that allows information to be shared do have a duty to ensure that that information is legal. Moving on to our hurdles. A factor, laws don't specifically exist to deal with deepfakes. The hurdle is that legislation has been proposed, but even if it gets put in place, criminals don't follow the rules, so it's probably unlikely that it will stop people that have bad intentions. Another factor is that social media is leveraged to send deepfakes across the internet really fast. A hurdle here is that Facebook was known to not pull down a fake video that was getting significant exposure of Nancy Pelosi, where she was appearing drunk in the video, and this was an example of a deep fake. Factor, watermarking videos and use of metadata help establish truth, but the big hurdle here is that there's not really a standard in place. So even if that began, there's going to be a wide range in how it's implemented, and systems aren't going to be able to automate identification of these videos based off of that until there's a standard. Another factor, software that damages reputations could be classified as malicious. One of the hurdles here is that there are legitimate uses for this technology, and they're in industries with significant influence and money, such as the entertainment industry. Some facts about deepfakes. March 2018, 60 journalists got together and started a fact-checking project called Verificado to help with misinformation around Mexico's general election. Another one's public awareness of deepfakes has grown 1,000% or 1,000 times since 2017. Another one is that while people are aware of deepfakes and the research around them's growing, anti-forgery technologies have not kept up pace yet. And then the final one on here is that basically experts agree that this is a significant problem, and for the next couple of years especially, it's something that we're not prepared to deal with. Putting my synthesis together, developments in AI have shown remarkable achievements and have reduced the barriers to get into this type of video editing. There's positive and negative applications from the technology. We need to have enforceable rules and regulations that are broad enough and forward-thinking enough that that they're going to apply to technology in the future, and that's not only relevant to the things of today. Our societies share a duty in preventing misinformation from being spread, and we need to do a better job of dealing with that. Just some sources. Thank you.